Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, Mr. Danladi Kifasi, the head of civil service of the Federation, is our guest on Question Time. Are you satisfied with the condition of service regarding the remuneration of an average public servant in their service?
Obviously not. But in a situation where you have dwindling resources, getting employment is not a right, it's a privilege. Those of us who are employed in the civil service now see it as a privilege. And we are grateful to our country. There are many out there who are looking for these employment opportunities that they don't have. So for me to be gainfully employed in a federal government establishment, I appreciate it.
What's your office doing, the office of the head of service doing to plug in into the leakages or wastages in the service?
We are, apart from the ethics and compliance concept we are bringing into the civil service, we are trying to strengthen institutions by building capacity of our officers in the area of knowledge and skill, enforced with character building through ethics. The civil service has some basic ethos which we have neglected in the past. But today, following the launch of our twin flagship programs, we are inculcating that again into our service.
What gives you the impression that the capacity building strategy is sufficient to change the attitudinal disposition of an average public servant?
That is the issue. You know, attitudinal change can easily come if you keep drumming it into people. Knowledge is power. A lot of our civil servants have not been trained for years. And so when you talk about corruption, they don't understand what you are talking about, because we have not taken them to the level that they will be aware that an inaction in the duties they carry out is part of corruption. Coming to work very early in the morning and contributing nothing in terms of productivity is in itself corruption. Okay? So we need to tell them these are the good things that you need to do. In fact, the emphasis in our training program is to emphasize the goodness, the good things in the service that we need to be doing, as against this is bad, but this is the good things you need to do. And once you take care of the good things, the bad things will give way, because light and darkness cannot coexist.
Is there an effective reward system for a public servant to look up to in terms of motivating the public servants?
Normally when we go to functions, sometimes we acknowledge or reward outstanding officers. Like this training we're conducting now. It is called structured mandatory assessment based. That assessment will come with a reward for those that have outperformed. The outliers will be given some incentive to go on to the leadership training program. I have nominated a few officers for national honors consideration because of the diligence with which they conduct themselves, the way and manner they carry on their duty. We've nominated them for national honors. And we believe that with that, other civil servants will be incentivized to take up the opportunity to also have.
Now, just on a lighter note, would the private sector also be included in this recommendation for national honors?
The national honor is available to every Nigerian who has contributed. You can see that I think the only Dangote last year got the next most highest order, which is the Grand Commander of the Niger. The others that earn that are the vice presidents. So you can see, coming from the private sector, because of his contribution to the Nigerian economy, internationally and locally. He was given one of the highest honors in the country.
The Vice President recently says there is a decline in the performance in the public service. What's your take on this?
He said the perception is that the civil service performance has declined. But he is of the view that the training program we've just commenced now is in the right direction. We're coming at the right time, because what he thinks is lacking in the service is vision. Visionary leadership was lacking. But with what he has seen in this program, he is happy that we're regenerating that vision concept. And the vision, revisioning our officers at a time of change was very, very crucial. Because immediately I came in as head of service, I realized that change was the best thing that will happen to the service. So I set out my agenda on the areas that I need to change. And those areas involve general capacity building, performance management system to be introduced, and the critical thinking capability of our officers needed to be enhanced. So, in a way, the Vice President was appreciating the fact that we have realized that we had a problem. We have realized that our performances were not well considered by the public, and we're ready to do something about it. I think that is a positive thing for the service.
You can also be part of this conversation by sending us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Coming up on Question Time: what's the head of service response to allegations of intense lobbying for juicy ministries among public officers? Find out when we return.